Okay, so in the models folder, I'm going to add a new class, vehicle. Every entity should have an ID, so prop int ID. Now our vehicle is going to have a model. So first I add the foreign key property, prop int model ID. And then I add the navigation property, model. Now the reason we have two properties here is that it's easier to persist objects using the foreign key property. So in the future, when we want to create a vehicle or when we want to update a vehicle, we don't have to load a model object from the context in order to associate it with this vehicle. We can simply set the identifier of the model using the model ID property. Now we should also know if the vehicle is registered or not. So prop bool is registered. Each vehicle should also have many features. Now I'm not going to talk about features in this lecture because here we are dealing with a many-to-many relationship, and that's the topic for the next lecture. So the other properties we need here are the contact information of the owner. Now ideally we should encapsulate these properties in a separate class, something like this. So contact. And here our contact class would have three properties: name, phone, and email. However, at the time of recording this video, this feature is not supported in Entity Framework Core. Because here contact is what we call a complex object. It doesn't have an identifier because we don't want to have a separate table to store the contacts. Each contact should be stored along the vehicle itself. In Entity Framework 6, we had this feature called complex types. So in our domain model, we could have a contact property in our vehicle class, and then Entity Framework would store the properties of this contact object as three columns in the vehicles table. So now that we don't have this feature, we have to add individual properties here. So contact name, contact email, and contact phone. I'm also going to add another property here, prop date time last update, because this is something that you see in a lot of real-world applications. Now let's resolve the namespace. Okay. And finally, before moving to the next lecture, I want to apply a couple of annotations on this contact name. So I want to make sure it's required because we need to know who we are going to contact. And I'm going to set a string length here, 255. Let's import namespaces. And I'm going to apply the same two properties on contact phone as well. So at a minimum, we should have the contact phone, and we can optionally have the contact email. Now I'm going to apply string length to contact email. Okay, I think our entity is in good shape. So next we're going to look at vehicles and features.